Well, hello, everyone. This is Michelle Moross, your host of MentalShift. Thank you for joining us. If you have found me on accident, hi, my name is Michelle Moross. You can find me at michellemoross.com. If you purposely found me or someone shared this with you, thank them, because today I have some amazing guests and they are coming from a university in India. And I have a very good friend who's here in Colorado Springs with me, and he's introduced me to these fabulous students. And I am glad you are here. Here is the definition of mental shift. Why do I call it mental shift? It's because everyone in life has a path that they're on. And something happens where they have a mental shift and they up-level whatever they're doing in their world. And that is what really happened with this group of students. It happened because they have a mentor who had a mental shift on how everything was working within his own school that he was alumni for. So please welcome all of the authors, is what I'm going to say, the authors of the Voices of the Alumni Pioneers Edition. And we have 3 students with us, and we have their mentor, my friend, Sharvan Tedla. And he has been such an influence on me and so many of the students of his alumnus school, which is the Osmania University College of Technology. Did I do it right?
Very close. It is Osmania University, and the college is College of Technology.
Ah,
yeah.
I should have had you just do that. Well, please welcome everyone. Well, my friend, I'm going to ask him first. Sharvan, what mental shift happened? I mean, I know you were looking at how everything was working at your university, doing, why do students leave and go somewhere else to get more knowledge and to gain whatever? Why can't they come back? That's one of your what initiated your thought process. So can you share a little bit about what brought you to this process? And this is like book 4, isn't it? And then I'll have you introduce each of the young authors, who are all still students, by the way, people. It's amazing. Sharvan, what started this?
So, I was always a good student. I was, one of the top students, but I always felt like there was something. When I came, I was not confident within myself. I always felt like, even though I had good grades and everything, I was not confident. And so when I came to US, I started really spending a lot of time trying to understand, why am I lacking confidence? And then I realized education is much more than a degree. Mm-hmm. Education is really, the way I define education is knowing about yourself and knowing what you want to create in this world and how you can co-create with the community you're part of. That is what I think education should be. Education should give you those tools to do that, to make your dreams come true. So I started, my parents were not feeling well. So I've been going to India, started going to India many times a year. And since I was there, so I said, let me see whether I can do something, in my own little way, help these, assist these young students to, show their uniqueness. And so I went to the university, college, and I talked to my, where I came from, College of Technology. And I talked to this principal there, and he was very supportive. He said, great, go ahead, do it. And so this is a program which we started off the fly, never had a clear, we knew the endpoint. Endpoint was very clear, but I had no idea on the steps that were supposed to be taken. So we started off saying, the goal was there were several goals we put, and one was financial independence by the age of 30. Too long, people are spending too much time on money until 60s and 70s and everything. So we said, let's change that. Financial independence by the age of 30. And then why are, students going out of the country? Why can't the students stay in India? How can the students feel like they can create their own future in India and be happy for themselves and also create the future. So that is another thing which we wanted to do. So there were several different endpoints, but we didn't have a real, we had no clue on the process. We just started making up the process. And the first thing I always felt was, in Indian situation, documentation was lacking. Because documentation was lacking, person A will say something, person B will say something. And person A will say, no, I'm right. Person B will also say, I'm right. And so there was, transparency was getting harder to create. If there is no transparency in the system, it is difficult to create a honest system if there is no transparency. So we have to create transparency. And the best way to create transparency was to create updates. Always update. So when you have a meeting, have meeting notes. When you learn something, put what you learned. So we started off with simple updates of every meeting they were doing. And slowly, then I said, you guys did so much of writing. Let us all put together as a book. And so that started the ECell Odyssey book. That was the first book which created the entrepreneurship cell. How we started the whole entrepreneurship cell, because there was nothing like this before. In 50 years, there was nothing that anywhere came close to what we did. So we said we need to document this so that every other youth and others can look at that. So we created that first book. And then we noticed all the time the alumni were saying, we are unable to connect with the students. And so we wanted to create a bridge. So we said, why not we talk to alumni and record their voices? So that started our book called Voices of the Alumni Entrepreneurship Edition. So we did that book. And then next book came as Voices of the Alumni Women's Edition, because now we have 60% girls and 40% boys in an engineering college. When 30 years ago, there were 5% girls and 95% boys in the engineering college. How did this shift? How did the girls of that era do? What are they doing? So we decided to learn that. So we did Voices of the Alumni Women's Edition. And then, but there are so many alumni over 50 years, right? So we said, we better get more entrepreneurs into the mix. Then we said, let's start another book. And that's when Surya, Nikhitha, and Brahma, I called each one of them and said, hey, I want you guys to write this book. I just felt like they were the right team. So I said, I want you to write this book about our alumni. And that's how it got started, of writing the third book in the series of books. And now, so Surya is the third year student from chemical engineering. And Nikhitha is second year textile technology student. And Brahma is first year textile technology student. So all these three, I felt like they were going to be the right group to work together and get this book done. And that's how it got started.
Wow, there is so much going on that you're doing, that you've initiated. And what's so beautiful about all of that is that your mental shift was, why can't we go back into the students' minds and have them extrapolate information from the alumni? Forget about the alumni trying to come in, you go to the alumni instead. And with all these books coming out, not only are you extracting more information from the alumni, but you're sharing it with the world and beyond. And that is astronomical. The other thing that I found so amazing, and that's why I always want you all on my podcast, is because one of the things that we don't realize when we're in school is that we have great knowledge within us. Everything we need is already there, and we're just waiting for someone else to kind of turn the switch on to tell us that we've got it. And that is where we all need to realize, and what you are realizing when you've written this book is, wait a minute, I kind of knew that already. And if we would learn that so much faster, and that's why I love your philosophy. Why are we working so hard till we're 60? Why don't we just get this done quicker and get it done with and live our lives? is because we doubt ourselves for so long. Like you said, when you came out of college, you just doubted yourself. I came out of college and I went to got my master's degree and I was still doubting myself. And I was like, well, because I've never seen it before. Oh, because I never, and what this entire experience, all of you authors, this experience that you're going through and being part of the ECell is to see that there is knowledge within you and among your peers, and that together you are far more powerful, far more intelligent than you could have ever imagined yourself to be. If we, Sharvan and I had what you have with the ECell, wow, I can't even imagine what the world would have been like for us. And so that's why I get so excited when I meet all of you, because the world has seriously opened for you. And whether if you're coming to America and taking some more classes and working here for a little bit, the goal is to go back to your own country and develop it, bring that knowledge back, be the encouragement to more females to join engineering. And if you haven't heard it, if you didn't know it, I was one of the early women engineers out here in Nebraska. I was in Nebraska, but it's just so exciting to know that the number of women in engineering has grown so much. And I get tickled by it. So I have questions for all of you. The first question I'm going to ask, and I'm going to go from age down, okay? So Surya, you are the eldest of the bunch, and right now you are also a two-time author because you were in the other book. But please introduce yourself and let us know, what does it feel like to be an author? And then I'll ask you a second question after you finish those two questions. A third question, I mean.
Thank you, Michelle. I am Surya. I'm a third-year chemical engineering student studying in Osmania University College of Technology, and I live in Hyderabad with my parents and grandparents. So I love solving problems, and I like reading about green technology and technology for sustainable development, and I always believe that we should move in that direction. And I continuously interact with my friends to discuss about green technologies, how we can continuously keep improving ourselves. And I'm very proud and glad to be an active member of the ECell. And coming to the next question about how does it feel being an author?
A two-time author.
It is, yeah, a two-time author. It is a fantastic experience, an experience which I never even imagined a couple of years ago. So for me, an author, I used to think about authors as people. People can only become authors when they have experienced a lot in life, that during their 60s or 50s, only then they would have the ability to write a book. But then on seeing my friends who have written books, I was so inspired by them. And under the mentorship of Shravan sir, he gave us the belief that you don't have to wait until 60s or 50s to be an author. You can do it right now. And that really helped us become authors. And it is a fantastic feeling. And I feel a lot confident now. I smile more often. It has really given a spring in my step.
Awesome. That's fabulous. Well, because I mean, I've met you before and I'm so like, but now you have facial hair. You didn't have that before. But I'm so excited because really that sense of accomplishment. And you know, the thing about writing a book that people get so hung up on is, oh, I don't have enough knowledge. Well, what you even did is you didn't have all the knowledge. You went out and pulled knowledge out of the people with the knowledge who never wrote the book. And people don't realize how powerful that is to capture history, to capture the past. And I'm so excited that you are all part of that. Now I'm going to ask you, because you're the eldest, what's your definition of pioneer? What brought that up?
According to us, all of us sat together and defined a pioneer as follows. So a pioneer is usually means someone who is doing something new in the field of science, let it be art, literature, etc. According to us, a pioneer is someone who thinks differently, who is committed and takes up a challenge, who has the ability to think out of the box and is persistent at doing that. So we often think about pioneers as some scientists, the billionaires, or the freedom fighters, but we often fail to recognize that pioneers are all around us. Our friends, our families, they are pioneers, and we should recognize them.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much for answering that. See, that was the surprise third question I was going to ask you. Now, thank you so much. And now I'm going to go to our next, who is our second year, Nikhitha. Where are you? There you are. So, hi. Will you do us a favor?
Hi,
Please introduce yourself and tell us, how does it feel to be an author? Oh, you muted yourself. Nikhitha? There you are. Introduce yourself and tell us what it feels like.
Sorry, ma'am. There is a small disturbance, so I muted myself.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. I'm Nikhitha, ma'am. I'm from Madhavaram, a village in Surya Karla district, and currently I'm doing my BTech second year, Textile Technology in Osmania University, Hyderabad, and I love playing the games than my education, and I love enjoying the nature too, and sometimes I even write. And yeah, and coming to my strength, I always believe in myself. That was my main strength. And coming to the next question, how do you feel being an author? It's really a high feeling, ma'am. I actually I wanted to write something since from my childhood. So just because of ECell and Shravan sir, I'm able to become an author. So seeing myself as an author is an encouragement to me to write more number of books, and it is also an encouragement to many of my friends, my cousins, who are willing to write books and become an author.
That's fantastic. You're influencing your sphere of, you have an influence, a sphere of influence. Now I have a third question for you. How did it feel to interview pioneers?
Yeah, I really felt great, ma'am, interacting with pioneers. What I learned interviewing pioneers is, I realized that everyone ideas play a unique role in the society. We can have ideas. We can put them into the society. They'll have this particular role in the society, and also I thought that it doesn't matter in which area we work. When I interacted with the six individual pioneers, I understood that working the field we work, it can be in any field. It always play a unique role in the society. I understood that.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for sharing. But yeah, it's so exciting to, well, one, that you were brave enough to go out and find pioneers and talk to them, because that in itself is very intimidating. I mean, even myself, who interviews people all the time, I get a little, butterflies in my stomach of nervousness to have to meet someone like that. And then you realize they're just humans too, who were just thinking outside of the box. And then you look back and do, wait a minute, I'm kind of like that too. And so it kind of changes the whole perspective of who you lift up really high and who you do, wait a minute, I can do that too. And so it opens up a door that you never even realize happens. Because I know even me as a younger person, I used to look at people who were pioneers in whatever field and went, wow, what did they do? They're just so amazing. They did. No, they just stepped out of the box of comfort. So their bravery was more of, I'm not thinking like everyone else. I'm going to try something new. And then they did it. And so it just puts a nice perspective of what can you bring? What can your generation bring to the world that all these other people on the world haven't thought of? Then you become the pioneer. Exciting. So Brahma, I'm looking at you. Are you ready for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, same first two questions. Please introduce yourself. And then how does it feel to be an author? And then I'll ask you a third question when you're done with the first two questions.
Yes, ma'am. I am Sai Bramarambika. I am first year textile technology student from Osmania University College of Technology. I live in hostel. I am actually from village called Bichkunda. It is in Nizamabad district. My interests are in computers. I can learn everything so easily. So I always try to do something in computers, hardware or software. And I love reading books. And I like watching movies. And when it comes to being an author, I'm really grateful to Shravan sir for giving me this opportunity. I love reading books, but I never thought I would be an author someday. This is really a very amazing part of my life. Being an author is a great thing to me.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And now my question, the third question for you is, here's a good one. How did you find pioneers to interview? Where did you find them?
As we were looking for pioneers, first we checked out the list of all our alumni. Then we sorted out who are pioneers, and these all happened because of Shravan sir. He helped us a lot in it. It was a bit difficult for us to find them, but Shravan sir made it easy.
He is. He makes things easy, doesn't he? He just opens doors for so many of us.
Yes, ma'am.
And what you may not know is Sharvan sir was also my mentor. He unleashed me into the world. So I don't know who I want to ask this question to. So if you want to, Sai, if you want to mute, and I'm going to ask the question, what can readers expect from this book, Voices of the Alumni Pioneers Edition? Should I go back to you, Surya?
Yes, Michelle. So writing this book shows that students 19 and 20-year-old can achieve so much. They can do things which are beyond the wildest dreams. This book also provides valuable insights on the lives of people, the pioneers, their experiences, the life stories, the ups and downs they had, the perseverance they had. All the stories are very inspirational, and the students can learn a lot from their lives. They can learn from the principles they have followed in the life. They can try to adopt those principles and become successful.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And now my next one would be, I'm going to ask the next two. So Nikhitha and Sai, I'm going to ask you this one. What message would you like to share with the world? So let's go Nikhitha first.
Yeah, I simply tell everyone to appreciate what they have and help the needy around them. That's it.
Nice and succinct. Thank you so much. That's perfect. How about you, Sai?
I would tell that always be happy for whatever you are. Always try to make everyone happy and follow yourself. You'll be there at what you are.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And now here's what's so exciting about all of this. You have accomplished at your incredibly young ages what most people in their 50s wish they could have done. Let that soak in. You've accomplished more than people you've been looking up to all your life. So when you are walking and you have this book and you've now opened doors that you didn't think were even there. Think of everyone who's watching you, your friends, your family. You have now up-leveled what they expect from themselves. If you have ever wondered if you've made a difference in the world, know this, you already have. So everything that you do from now on is just goodness on top. I mean, it's honey on the top of the cake, because you've already made such a big difference at and just think of all the things you now can do that you wouldn't have done before. So think of your friends who have never written a book, who aren't part of ECell, who do. I can't believe you're doing that. And in your head, you're thinking, I can't believe I didn't think I could. And so you've already separated. And so now people are watching you doing, I want to be part of this ECell. I want to write a book. I want to move. I want to do something more. So I said this to the last group. Do you realize one of these days, there is going to be an ECell group writing a book about you?
Right, you said that.
And they all went, I said, yes, someone's going to be writing a book about you. So be prepared. Be prepared. Keep notes about what you do and what you're learning, because someone, if you haven't written the book yet, someone will reach out to you and say, can you tell us your story? You're one of the pioneers who wrote the first books out of Osmania. You see,
right.
Be prepared. Okay. Sharvan, I'm back to you.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to add is you said they've already done a lot, because the thing is, we as human beings, for some reason, whatever reason it is, we want to prove ourselves that we are
worthy.
We are, we can do something, we are valuable. And so usually that goes for like 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. Some people are still proving themselves. And really speaking, there is no need to prove at all, but it's human nature that we want to prove for
it's in our heads.
Right.
And so as a coach, I work with people in their late 40s into their 60s, working on exactly what you've already worked through.
Right, exactly. You guys did it. You've already proven yourself at ages of 18, 19, and 20.
Yeah, so the next time you're having an exam, you do, I don't know if I'm ready. You're ready. Just do it.
You're like, this is one exam. I have done so many things. I'll just do something. I'll just write this exam.
Yeah,
so life becomes easier.
Yes.
I mean, different, I should say.
Yeah, it doesn't get easier, but it definitely, you have a different perspective of what fear is and what expectations are. And now your expectations were like, oh, I hope I can be. Oh no, you can be. So forget that question. It's, how do I want to get there? And now it's, I don't have to follow the path of someone else. I can make my own path. I've already forged my first groove into a whole nother dimension of world. You became an author at a very young age. You've shifted. So now, there's an expression, the world is your oyster. I mean, now you can create your own future. So be the best version of you. Keep doing what you do. And whenever you have doubt in your head thinking, well, I'm so young, remember, I'm a published author. And you do, oh, okay, maybe I can do this. So you remember that, because when you get older, things will happen and you'll start questioning yourself. Trust us, we know.
We do.
And you need to build upon your strengths.
Right.
And so like Surya, I know he's coming out soon. It's coming soon. So I'm gonna go back to you, okay? And Sharvan, there are so many things on the horizon, so many things that are coming that you are working on, that are running through your brain. You've got another book coming out with the students. Can you share what's going on? Because the one book that you told us about with the engineering, I don't want to steal your thunder. I want you to explain what's going on.
Yeah. So, it is all like, the whole entrepreneurship cell, which we started, is a platform where we wanted people to express, interact, just be who they are. Everyone should be respected there. Each one should be seeing the beauty in each other. Each one should see the greatness in each other. So the whole thing is about letting this grow, right? Then suddenly and even a couple of alumni started joining this platform now. It was like just me and the students, and now the alumni started joining in. And one of the alumni said, Sharvan, I wanted to write a book about how to, teach chemical engineering in a different way. And I said, tell me more about it. And he said, we have been teaching chemical engineering using books, the same books with the same authors for the last 50 years. And he said, and still the students are not industry ready. So why don't we teach them using a simulation software? And simulation software is how everything gets done in the chemical engineering industry. He said, we will teach everything through a simulation software. And so he said, why don't we teach how to learn why don't we teach chemical engineering in 100 problems? And as soon as he said it, I knew the power of what he was saying. And they said, this is a fantastic idea, and tell me what I can do. He said, can you give me some students? I said, that's the easy part for me. I have only to give you the students and you are going to do all the work. So I said, fine. And immediately I called. I knew who the students are, who I wanted them. And I just called them. And within, I think, 3 days, we formed a team. And that's it. And then these alumni who did, his name is Pawan. He is an expert in that simulation software. And he immediately put together the program. Within days, we got started. And this all started in COVID when the lockdown happened. Before the lockdown ended, the book was done. That was how fast they got it done. And now we are trying to make it a recommended textbook throughout the country. The Indian Institute of Chemical Engineers has agreed to publish the book, and one university has agreed to make it a recommended textbook. So we are now changing the way engineering has to be taught. So if we can do for chemical engineering 100 problems, can we do it for electrical engineering? Can we do it for mechanical engineering? Can we do it for textile engineering? Why not, right? Why do we have to do the same way for 50 years? So we just got them started. So this is a new book that came out, and so that's going on. So that's one. And the second one is we are really close to getting the financial independence book. We have written most of the draft, everything is done. And so the financial independence book, we are putting together some examples on how to get how to think about money. We are even trying to come up with new games on how to make money, because everyone thinks go and work and make money. But is there a different way to make money? How does some people seem to make trillions of dollars, billions of dollars, and some people are just trying to survive. So why is this huge difference there? Is there a way, how do we do this? So we have identified certain things within our community, within our, within the world, how some people seem to make. So we are now trying to put all of that into books. So that way we want to help. If around 15 to 20% of the people can become financially independent, then the whole world does not need money. That's my theory. So we need to eliminate money out of the system. I do not think the money is relevant in the current system. So and I think money is preventing people to not able to express themselves. So we need to get that to be done. So if we can get 15% of the people to be financially independent, I think the whole system will crumble and there will no longer be money necessary. Anyway, that's a theory. So we're working on that. So students have come up with all kinds of methods, everything. We are even going to put graphs in there. We are going to have Excel spreadsheets, which tell clearly how to do all that.
Well, I'm laughing because when you said that the whole book, the engineering book is in just what 100 equations?
100 problems, yeah.
I remember being in my differential calculus course.
Differential equations, yeah.
Yeah, diffie-qs. And I remember thinking, I remembered all those little ones. If I just remembered this one, I have them all. And I remember complaining that why did they teach me all these little ones? Why didn't they just teach me the big one? I know it all. And I remember complaining about that. And when I would be in study groups, and I would tell all my friends, I do, what are we doing? What do I do? Just remember this one. If you remember this one, pull this, pull this, pull this. And I would tell everybody how to do it. And they do, how did you do that? I do, it's obvious, isn't it? It's like right here. And that's how I used to teach in my little study groups. And everyone thought I was insane. And you're making a book out of it.
Yep. Exactly.
You beat me to it.
Yeah. We just have to, like you said, when we were talking before the call, you said, I said, we have to disrupt it. Yeah. And you said, yeah, we have to disrupt it every day. We have to disrupt the systems every day, not like you disrupt it, like let's disrupt it every 10 years. But you really disrupt it every day. You get up in the morning and you say, how can I disrupt my life every day?
Yep. It's a choice. And what's so neat about this is unknowingly, you're all pioneers. You're all part of being a pioneer. Just expect you're all part of the Pioneer Book Volume 21 or whatever. You will be in it, okay? Because that's what pioneers do. You do something different. And now, Sharvan, you said something else. You mentioned something called the Top Talks. Can you explain what that is? Because
we tried to get the TED Talks license. And they said, no, we already gave it to another college within your university, so we can't give it to you. And we said, you know what? We'll just create our own brand. And so we call it the Top Talks.
What is Top?
Top means in our Telugu language, in that area where the language spoken is Telugu, and it's unique. It is you're skilled in a certain area, and they call it Top. So we decided to start our own brand called Top Talks. So that's something we are now trying to even get copyright on it. And we even started our own company called Top Consultancy Private Limited with the students. We are putting together all the students as a general members. And so they are working together all the rules and regulations on how to start their own company. And so that's also, going through, because the whole thing is, individually, a lot of people have succeeded. And you mentioned that also during this call, is how do you do it as a group? When you can do it as a group, it's much, much more powerful. And that's what we are trying to keep these people to understand the power of a group, power of a team. And so everything we do is always making sure each person in the group is valuable. Each person is working on something unique. And so we are always coming up with new ideas because we don't want Nikhitha to think like, I'm done with a pioneer, I'm done with pioneer work, so I'm done. No, we need Nikhitha to do something else too. So we are always making everyone involved in their strengths. Now, when Nikhitha was talking, I was thinking, when Nikhitha said, this is my strength, this is what I like. So I'm already creating a project for Nikhitha. So she doesn't know it yet. She knows now, but I'm already creating a project for her. So another thing, Michelle, I think you should ask them a little more about is, because everyone, there is my father is a pioneer in my family. The things he has done has created, yes, he's not people don't know him through media. He's not in media, but he is a pioneer in that. And so we decided to give that kudos to people who are pioneers in our families. So those stories are also there in that book. So Surya has written about his aunt. Nikhitha has written about her own mother, who is an absolute, an amazing person. And Brahma has written about her grandfather. So I think you might want to ask, a question about that, so that way they can tell you how they decided on thinking about pioneers in their own family.
Well, you should ask that. You just asked it.
Yes.
Because when Brahma said she really liked computers and she learns it very easily, my brain was like, okay, what can we do with really? I was already calculating what to do with you. Well, here's my thing. You have to be careful when you're working with me and Sharvan, because we think childlike. We don't have parameters that lock us in a box. We don't think like your average adult that says, because I'm this, then therefore this. We don't do that. We do, because I'm this.
What else?
What else? And so our brains work very quickly, and we're constantly thinking about what can be next. How can we tweak that? How can we? Now, when you were working on this book, and as Sharvan was saying, you had your own pioneers in your world. How did they influence you? And do they know, did you tell them how proud you are or how you feel about being associated with them and how they inspired you to jump into something that is so different? And we're going to go backwards this time. We're going to start with Brahma first.
In my home, I consider my grandfather as pioneer. His name is Suresh. He's actually a retired teacher. He's very calm and peaceful person. I learn a lot from him. Like being a teacher, he started a business which is taken up by my father now. And we are all in this position now because of my grandfather. And I'm really happy learning a new thing from him every day.
Very nice. Very well said.
Very well said. Thank you. Now we're going to go backwards. So Nikhitha.
Yeah. I consider my mother as a pioneer in our family, because my mother, she faced problems like every one of us, but she didn't think of the problems. She continuously worked. What can I do new? What can I do for my children? What can I do for my family? So, and she didn't. I didn't see her fearing. I didn't see that she was fear in the situation. She was worried in the situation. She didn't do that. So, and she her thought process will be like inspiring one. So I consider my mother as a pioneer.
Fantastic.
Her mom doesn't have any formal, education.
Yeah.
But she went on. Now she started her own business, and now she's even getting into politics, and she wants to make her village better, and make even she wants to go beyond the village and see how she can make many other. She has done a lot of women groups also, right, Nikhitha?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty amazing,
Well, and that's what I wanted. I liked hearing the stories. Don't worry, Surya, we didn't forget you. We're coming back to you still. But what you have to understand is these people that you were admiring, one, age does not matter. Pioneers do not rely on age, okay? The other thing is education level does not matter. What matters is moving through your fear.
Right.
So Brahma, your grandfather, he left the teaching, started a business. That is a terrifying thing to do, to go from an institution where things are together and branch out and do something completely different. He moved past his fear. Nikhitha, your mother, no formal education, but she is very active and moving and giving back to the community. She moved past the fear of the stigma of what a woman can and cannot do.
Yeah.
And so, wait, I need to point out really quickly about this is age doesn't matter. We've all been programmed to think that because someone's older, they're wiser. It is not true. We are all part of the same race to the end of the world, okay, to our deaths. And it doesn't matter if you meet someone younger or older than you may be further ahead on that road of knowledge. And being the part of this ECell group that you are in, you are, I want to say, privy to some information. You have been exposed to a bit of collaboration that a lot of people don't get in their lifetime. So when you approach another problem later in life, you are going to know something in that room of people who are baffled because you were part of the ECell. And I know that sounds very extremely weird, whatever, but when you get into that situation, you're going to do, oh, Michelle said I would know something because I was part of a group before. And I'm telling you, it will happen.
Yep.
It's because it doesn't matter what age we are all on different mile markers. We're different at different stopping points on the road to the end, okay? It doesn't matter what age you're at. So don't ever let age stop you, or education level stop you, or what anyone's told you stop you.
Right.
I had to get off that. I had to get that out of me. So, Surya.
Yes, Michelle.
Who was your pioneer in the family?
Yeah, I consider my aunt as a pioneer. So she came from a family which has an agricultural background and with a very weak financial status. She used to walk for about 4 kilometers every day to get to the school, and she didn't have enough money to buy textbooks. So she would get textbooks from her friends and copy down the entire textbook to prepare for the exams. But through all these hardships, she always kept in her mind the fundamental principles of life, being humble, honest, and respecting one another. And with these principles, she now has a PhD in organic chemistry, and she now lives in Boston. She has a very beautiful family, and she's always extremely simple and has no interest in the materialistic desires. And she strives to work hard and serve the society. And she continues to inspire me. And I'm proud to have her as my aunt.
That's fantastic. Now,
I actually spoke with her. She lives in Boston. And my God, she is pretty amazing lady. She is, her daughter, I think, is doing, she's going to be a doctor very soon. And her son is trying to get into something really politics and journalism or something like that. And she is spending a lot of time with the community. She does a lot of social work within the community. So she has a job, and then she is completely lost in social work within the community there in Boston.
That's just awesome. But it's almost what we strive for. A lot of us strive for, to be successful enough that we can give back. And in my mind, that is success. My idea of success is that you're doing well enough that you can give back to the people that are around you, or go back to where you started from, that helped inspire you to whatever you're doing. And not until that happens do I really see someone successful. I mean, you see people on television and movies, and oh wow, no, I don't consider them successful unless they're giving back. Because if they're up there and doing great things for themselves, kind of takes away the shininess of it. And so that's what's so exciting, is because you're already giving back. You're already giving back. So I like to thank all of you, the authors of Voices of the Alumni Pioneers Edition, and for being so brave and being pioneers in your own world to step out. And of course, we all want to say thank you to Sharvan Tedla for being the pioneer who thinks outside of the box very fast all the time and doesn't know how to stop, because that's what pioneers do. And you are opening so many doors for so many students, and the ideas that you are bringing up are repeatable. Now, I have one question for you, Mr. Tedla.
Yeah, please.
When are you writing your book on how to start an ECell in university?
I thought about all that, but I think, my book are these students.
Okay, well, I think that I hope you've been taking notes, because this needs to be a repeatable process. I see you honestly attending or getting onto a TEDx or a TED,
Right.
having this process that you've created here with the ECell so that other people can repeat it across the world. Because if we can have more students thinking in the capacity that the ECell group is, we will shift the entire world.
I hope so, yes.
Yes, so when you have an entire generation coming up, learning the principles of standing up for yourself and giving back, and that there's more than just the box we see.
Right.
We can shift the world.
Absolutely.
Sharvan, you're giving a great disservice for concentrating on only one university. You need to share this.
Thank you. I will, first of all, thank you very much for saying those nice words. I'm constantly reevaluating myself. I'm constant because I believe it's not about the future, it's about today. So I'm constantly making sure that I am learning. Yesterday, it was something called Guru Purnima, which is like Teacher's Day, you could call it in India. It is a full moon day, and on that day, all gurus or all teachers are appreciated. And I want to take this last moment to say thank you to all of you. You're also my gurus. Guru means a person who removes darkness. And not just older people, younger people also can be my gurus. And Surya, Nikhitha, and Brahma, you're also my gurus. I have learned a lot from you. And you have made my life, more lighter, full of light. Not just lighter, but full of light as well. So thank you, everyone.
And Sharvan, just FYI, we're in the same town in Colorado. I'm going to coach you into that book and coach you onto that stage.
Thank you.
We need to move this more, bigger.
Okay, thank you. We will do that. We'll do that.
Okay, I'm looking at you.
Okay.
So everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the wisdom that you're bringing back to your school. As an alumni, if you're out there listening and you're an alumni to your university, your colleges, and you think, wow, why don't they do what Sharvan did? Go back and address it. Make it happen. We all see something in our lifetime where we say, why are they doing it that way? And we don't stop to go back to do anything about it. Maybe we should. So until next time, everyone, thank you so much. And the Voices of the Alumni Pioneers Edition, I will share it. I will share the link because I think it'll probably be on Instagram, right?
Yep.
I think that's how I shared it last time. So we'll share it on Instagram, but I will put it in the description of this video. So if you are watching on video, great, you'll see the image. If you are only listening on Anchor or Spotify or Apple iTunes or wherever you're listening, find the image on Instagram. It'll be in the description, and then you can grab the book of Voices of the Alumni Pioneers Edition. So until next time, everyone, thank you so much and have a fabulous day and be unapologetically you.